Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode. Today, my theme for this episode is I'm just a girl who believes in magic, which I actually think should be the tagline of my life or my theme for what it is that I want to create and share with the world, because I think that I talk about magic a lot, whether it be on the podcast, whether it be with clients, whether it be in my everyday life interactions that I have. And I just had this realization of that I don't know if truly everybody understands what I'm talking about when I say magic, because we're taught as children to believe that once we get to a certain age that magic isn't real, because you find out all these things like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy and all those things, and then you start to lose this faith in what is called magic. And then I think we associate magic with abracadabra and pulling a bunny out of a hat and card tricks and all these things that magicians have if you were to go see a magic show. And I guess I never really, until recently, had a way to describe what magic means to me and why I'm such a firm believer in it, because it is so much bigger than the abracadabra, and it's not, to me, not that at all. And I do believe in that because people can do some crazy tricks, and that's really cool. Not something I've ever really been into or knowledgeable about in my life, but I would not go see a magic show if I was given the opportunity. But to me, I think that magic is the absolute beauty, the beautiful moments in life when there's just no other word to describe it than magic. And to me, it's the moments where God is present, and it's the moments where everything just seems to fall into place and there's no other explanation for what just happened other than magic. And it's the moments, it only happens in the moments where we're completely present, where we are completely immersed in the experience that we are having. We're not worried about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow. We are completely, fully where we are in that exact moment, and that in itself is magic. And I think that when you make it a priority to be present, to be mindful, to ensure that you have these little moments every single day, that's truly when the magic happens. And to me, magic is, it doesn't have to be some big elaborate show, ta-da. Like I said, it's the beauty in all these little moments. It's when you're standing at a lake and the sun hits off the water in the most beautiful way that it's just absolutely breathtaking. To me, that is a moment of magic. It's when you're at the right place at the right time. When you have this thought and then you look up and see an angel number. It's when you meet somebody who is exactly what you needed at that moment, when you feel like you need a new friend and then one shows up in your life. And I think also, in a way, like when your prayers are answered, those are moments of magic, because it's almost essentially like you shaking hands with the universe, you shaking hands with God. And when you're so present and in that moment, you feel nothing but absolute gratitude that you get to have this experience that you dreamt of, that you wanted, that you manifested, and you're in that experience and you're there and you're present. That is absolutely magic. And I am just a girl who believes in magic. I am a girl who believes that these moments are so special, and I will spend the entire rest of my life doing what I can to ensure that I not only have these moments and experiences for myself, but make sure that I open people's eyes to this magic so that other people can have this experience as well, because this is what, to me anyway, makes life worth living. Okay, we're humans. We're here to learn. Sometimes life can be hard. We have to deal with things that we don't want to deal with. We experience tough emotions. We all go through trauma. We all have shit that we have to deal with. But when you can have this moment, this experience where you're absolutely so present and experience something that is magical, it feels as if all that fades away, that none of these worries actually matter, and you can detach, even if it's for a moment, from all these human things and just be, just live, just experience. And that to me is so magic. And I think that that is a really big part of what our entire society is so detached from at the moment, that is causing so many people to be depressed and feel detached from their reality and have all these issues. And this is where we become addicted to phones and screens and that instant dopamine hits that we get from all the technology and things that we have instant gratification in front of our faces. And I think we've been kind of pushed in that direction. And if you take a step back and look at it from an outside perspective, from a wide view lens of what's truly going on, it's really, really sad to me, because what's happening is it's taking us out of the magic. It's taking us away from being present. And we're not being present when we're watching TV. We're not being present when we're scrolling on Instagram. We're not being present when our attention is elsewhere. It has to be physically what's happening in your reality, I believe, to be fully present, because you're worrying about other things. You're comparing yourself to other people's lives, and all this is comparison is going to leave you feeling miserable. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is yourself. And are you doing better than you were yesterday? And even if you're not, there's always tomorrow. And you get to make that decision every single day. You get to wake up and you get to make that decision for yourself. It's not up to me. It's not up to your mom. It's not up to your dad. It's not up to your siblings or your friends or your teachers or anybody else in your life. It's up to you how you want to get up and show up and be in this world. And that's how you have the power to create this most beautiful, magical life. You have the power to listen to your intuition. You have the power to follow your heart, follow your desires, and do things that light you up. That's where you create more of this magic in your life. Okay, when I lived a life of doing something that was not in alignment with my soul, when I was doing things that was making me miserable, I wasn't having these experiences, or at least not nearly as often as I do now. And the more confident I am in the path that I need to walk, the more steps I take in the right direction, the more rewards I get from the universe in having these most beautiful moments. And I know for myself, life gets busy. I'm only human. I've got things to do all day long, and sometimes time can get away from you, and I realize that maybe I haven't had a moment to just sit with myself. And as soon as I'm in that energy, as soon as I'm present, as soon as I'm just doing what I'm doing and not worried about anything else, it is the most magical feeling. And I think our phones are so distracting because we are social creatures. Humans are designed to be social creatures. We want to talk, we want to share, we want to learn, we want to explore. There's always something new out there, especially that we have these phones. But then we see other people living their lives, and we don't see the whole story on social media. People only share what they want to share about their lives. Not many people are actually sharing all the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs. It's the highlight reels, the highs. They share what they want you to see. But most people aren't open and honest about all that goes on behind the scenes. And so you can sit there all day and think, oh, I wish that was my life. I wish I had these experiences and blah, blah, blah. But you're taking yourself out of the magic. And just know that if there's something that you see that you desire, that's just a sign from God, from the universe, that it's something you're meant to have. You wouldn't want it if you're not meant to have it, in your own way. It doesn't have to be exactly in the way that you've seen it in somebody else's life, but just make that an idea of like, okay, I want to put that on my vision board. I want to go there. I want to see that. I want to do that. I want to have this job. I want to have this relationship. I want to be a mom. I want to, whatever that is that you see, that you desire, put it on your damn vision board. Put it down. Write it down in a list. Make it clear that that's what you want. Because again, this is where this magic happens. We are in a dance with the universe, and there's so many ways in which we can close ourselves off to that magic, to that connection, to that relationship, that it's our God-given right as a human being to have that, to have the intuition, to have the gift of communication. And unless you're clear about what you want, unless you're stating what it is that you want, how do they know how to help you? And how are they supposed to give you what you want if you don't even know what you want? If you don't take the time to sit down, write it down, think it out. It doesn't have to be you think of something and this is what you're stuck with and this is what you're going to get for the rest of your life. No. You can manifest something, have it come into your reality, and then realize, oh, that's actually not what I want. I'm going to try this. Because we might have to walk down 100 different roads before we find the right one that's getting us to where we need to go. But if we don't take steps in any direction, if we don't take any action, if we sit in that, oh, I wish, and being so detached from being present in our physical reality, we lose that magic. And that is, I think, what makes life worth living for. But think about the last time that you were just with your friends or with your family or with your loved ones, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, with whoever it is that lights you up, that connection you have with another human being, and no phones, you're doing something, you're in the moment, you're enjoying the experience, the joy, the glow, the gratitude, the love that you feel, that high that you get from those experiences. That is freaking magic. And you have an unlimited amount of that. You can have that every single day of your life if you're willing to be open to it, open to receiving, in the state of flow, knowing that you are so worthy of having these experiences, worthy of having your desires come true, because that is a really big block for probably almost everybody, is that we fight ourselves on if we are worthy of. Who am I to deserve this? Who am I to have this life? Who am I to have these dreams? Well, you wouldn't have them if they weren't meant for you, but that's very much coming from a place of the ego and a place from feeling so detached and apart from the wholeness and the oneness and the connection of yourself and the universe, yourself and others, yourself and this world, that comes from living in the present moment. I feel so lucky, and I know that I'm lucky. I've been affirming to myself pretty much my entire life that I am a lucky, very, very lucky person, and I am. The proof shows up for me because I believe that I am. Do I think I'm more lucky than somebody else? No. But I know that I'm worthy for my dreams to come true. I know that I'm lucky that I'm lucky I'm alive right now. My soul is chose to incarnate right now at this time. And I know that I'm lucky because every day I wake up and I get to have a new day. Is every day as wonderful as the last? No, sometimes there's going to be days where you're exhausted. Sometimes there's going to be days where you're overly emotional. Sometimes there's going to be days where you just want to lay in bed all day and do nothing else. And that's fine, because I think, as humans, we're meant to experience a whole range of emotions and experiences. We wouldn't appreciate the highs if we didn't also experience the lows. But I know that I'm lucky, and it is just continues to be proven to myself over and over and over again. And I live in such a state of gratitude that I think I am such a being of love that is just naturally where I at least hope that I exist, just living in my everyday life. Oh, yes, I feel frustrated every once in a while. Yes, things can make me angry. Yes, sometimes I get road rage when people are stupid, but at the end of the day, as soon as I experience that emotion, I just have to take a step back and remind myself, no, I am love. I'm not in a rush. Even if I'm 5 minutes late, who freaking cares? It's not going to kill anybody. I would rather take a deep breath and be calm, and just, maybe there's a reason why I got stuck in traffic. Maybe there's a reason why I got stuck behind a train. Maybe there's a reason why I took a wrong turn and had to go around the block to get to where I was going. Maybe it saved me from being in a car accident. Maybe there was something I needed to see. This literally happened to me today. I was driving to drop something off, and I was at this train, so I just turned and went the other way, and as soon as I turned, I saw a license plate that said 777, which, for those of you that don't know, means luck. And I just can't help but giggle to myself. And it wasn't because I was feeling like I was rushed. I had to go that way anyway, so I just was like, I'll just go this way and around. And I still ended up having to wait for the train at the other train tracks, but I just kept going. And as soon as I turned, I was like, oh, now I know why I had this feeling to go this way. It's just a reminder to myself. And things like that start to happen all the time, that it just starts to feel normal. And it's weird to me because there was a summer when I really got into this journey, when I was like, every time I'd see an angel number on my phone, I would screenshot it. And I was like, oh my God, I have like 100 screenshots from this whole summer of always seeing these angel numbers. And every time I'd be like, oh my God. And I still, like, I acknowledge it when I see it. And I always smile and giggle to myself and have a moment of gratitude. Thank you for that sign, for that message, for that confirmation that I am on the right path, that I'm supported, that I'm following my intuition, that I'm going the right direction, that I'm lucky and abundant, and all these signs that angel numbers are meant to be there for us. But now it's just such a normal part of my reality that I'm not like, oh my God, I can't believe it, I just saw a 777 on this license plate in front of me, that's so cool. Like, I still think it's cool, but I am so living in that part of reality that always happens to me. I don't think there's a single day that I drive somewhere and I don't see a license plate with an angel number, or a phone number, or a number on my receipt, or the total. I just went on a trip and I stopped twice for food on the way on this trip. Both times my total was $5.55. I can't even make that shit up. But it's just like, to me, this trip I went on was so significant, and the entire time I barely touched my phone, and I just had the most magical experience. And this whole time, all I was getting was like, yes. Like, this trip was so divine. I needed to be on this trip, and it is a big, 555 means change, and it is a big step in the right direction of the change that is coming in my life. So I am so grateful, thankful, full of gratitude and love and appreciation for everything that I experienced, and the amount of moments of magic I had in this trip, I can't even explain. And it's something that I am going to keep for myself. It's something that I'm going to sit with at least for a while. But I love my life, and I love the universe, and I'm just a girl who believes in magic, because let me tell you, it's freaking real. And you could argue with me till you're blue in the face, but I'm so freaking stubborn when I believe something to be true. Maybe it's my toxic trait, but maybe I know that it is also a part of what makes me me, because I know so deep in my core, in my soul, that this is an absolute truth, that you could literally hold a gun to my head and I would still say, nah, this is what I believe, because there's been so much proof in my life, because my whole life has been me affirming this to myself, especially in the last few years. And I think that it's part of my duty, of my purpose, of the reason why I'm literally here right now to share this message with the world, because I'm just a girl who believes in magic, but my whole life is magic. And sometimes I hate social media. Sometimes I don't want to wake up and I don't want to post, and I'm honestly really bad at being consistent at it, because I would rather be in the moment and not touch my phone at all. But I also know that I can share little moments in my life. I can share things that I've learned in my life, and I know that it can help other people see what's possible for them. And that's all I can do. I can be there to help the people that want me to help them. I can show up and share my life, the good, bad, and the ugly. But all I can do is just show the proof that from what I've experienced, and hope that other people want to create that proof for themselves as well. And if not, then you get to live in the reality that you create for yourself. So if you're living in a reality that is not what you dream of, if you're living in a reality that's not what you want to live in, you're making those decisions for that to happen to yourself. And it's time to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself these tough questions, because nobody said this work was easy. Nobody said this work was sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. You're gonna have to go through ups and downs to get to this point of being okay, of spending time with yourself, being okay in your own energy, feeling confident in yourself and who you are, releasing all this self-doubt that has been ingrained in you from the time you were a small child. Because even if your parents, and I hope they were not telling you that you're not worthy enough, they might have told themselves in ways that they weren't worthy enough, and that's what you saw, and then that belief was ingrained in you. So even if you're a parent and you tell your kids, you can do anything you set your mind to, you should follow your dreams, and blah, 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 all these positive affirmations, if they weren't living in that truth, if they weren't embodying that advice that they were giving you, chances are you actually absorbed what they showed you through their actions and reactions of their reality, not what they were telling you. And I giggle to myself about this all the time about my parents, is as an adult, and because of the work that I do, I have conversations with my parents about all sorts of things, and they're talking to me, and all I can hear is their limiting beliefs screaming at me through the way that they're explaining things. And I feel bad because I wish that I could help. I wish that I could show them what I see that is happening, but if they don't want to see, if they don't want to change, if they don't want to move past that, that is out of my control. You cannot help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. So I just accept that that's the way they were raised, that's the beliefs they have, but I can see that, and that's my gift, is I now see that and go like, oh, that was a limiting belief, and I believed that was true, but now I see what this has manifested for you in your life, and I don't want to hold that belief because that's not what I want to manifest, so I need to change that belief within myself. And again, this is the magic. How freaking cool is it that we have the power to do that? Our brain is like the wheel of a movie at the movie theater. In the old fashioned, you would put the disc in the wheel and this wheel would spin, and that's what's projecting on the screen. Our beliefs that we hold in our mind, in our subconscious mind, is the wheel that's being projected on the movie screen. So you get to decide what the hell you're watching on that screen. By doing the work, by dealing with your shit, by going to therapy, by doing ayahuasca, by sitting with yourself, by meditating, by letting go of anger and resentment and judgment and all these things that are so easy to cling on to. But when you let go of that, when you take a step back, when you're open to the magic that can exist in your life so fucking quickly, things can shift for you so quickly, as easy as making the decision of that's what you want, and knowing that you are worthy of these experiences. Things can start happening literally overnight, and just play it like a game. This is what I've thought to myself now. Remember when you were a kid and you used to play with your siblings or your friends, and you would play a game and you would be like, let's pretend that like I'm a mermaid and you're like a fairy, okay? And then you'd be like, okay, well, now let's pretend that we're going shopping, and now let's pretend that we're over here cooking food, and that's how you would talk to each other while you were playing. And you'd be like, pause the game. Okay, so now, like, I'm actually hungry, let's go have lunch. And then be like, resume game. Okay, Stephanie, we're going swimming in the ocean. You want to come? Things like that. At least that's how me and my sister played. But I hear now my nieces and nephew playing, and that's how they talk to each other, and I'm like, oh my god. When you were a kid and you were in your imagination and you were really into those games, like, that was so real. I mean, obviously I knew I was a kid playing a game, but when you're in that game, you're like, this baby is my baby, and I need to feed her and tuck her in for a nap or she's going to be cranky, and that was my reality in that moment of playing that game. Also, partly why I know I'm going to be such a good mom, because I've been practicing since the time I could hold the doll in my arms. But what if our reality as adults is also like that? Like, what if you just were like to yourself, hey, I want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. I want to be whatever it is that you want to be. So I'm just going to be that. I'm going to take the steps in that direction. I'm going to embody that version of myself that is that, because I can be anything that I want to be. Just like I could play any game that I wanted to play as a child. Play it like a game. Pretend. almost pretend, fake it till you make it until it's actually real. Because eventually it catches up with you and it is real. But use your imagination. And, this is the part of why I think so many people got left feeling like magic isn't real. We were so disconnected from that. When we were a kid, it was real. Santa was real. The Easter Bunny was really real. The Tooth Fairy was real. And then one day you find out that this was a lie, and then you lose that sense of your imagination. But that imagination is also such your connection to that magic. So use your imagination and use it to create, to get really, think about what you want in your life. Use your imagination. What is my wildest dream? Okay, maybe you can't manifest being a mermaid, okay? But not in this life yet. You can manifest being that in your next life if that's really what you want. But you can have literally anything you desire. And I think my life is about to freaking show me that really freaking fast, and I'm absolutely here for it. And I'm very open to sharing my experiences with you because I want to be the proof to show you that it's possible. That I came from a very average life. I'm from a small town in Canada. I've not grown up with some, I don't know. I feel like I'm just an average person. And I think that's what makes me so special to share this with all of you, because if I can do it, so can you. But I also want you to know that, if you want help, that's literally what I'm here for. If you have questions, if you need somebody to talk to about a situation, if you need advice, if you just want clarity on a situation of hey, I'm just wondering, am I crazy for thinking that this is the direction I should go in? That's part of my gift. I'm very good at helping people with that. And please never, never, never be shy to reach out. I am always here to help. I am always here to be a guide. That is literally my purpose, and that lights me up. Literally, I start glowing when people ask me questions like that. That's how I know that's exactly what I'm meant to do in this life. Because I'm just a girl that believes in magic. So be open to the magic. Be present so that that magic can be in the moment with you when you're in that moment. And use your imagination. Connect with it and just be absolutely crazy and wild about the things that you want to manifest. And prove to yourself that this magic is real, that you're lucky, and that you get to have all these experiences because you do, and you can, and you will, as long as you believe in yourself, believe in the magic, and stay in that energy of gratitude and love and admiration and appreciation for all the things in your life, even the bad things. Okay, we wouldn't be who we are if we didn't learn to grow through the mud, okay? And we all have mud to grow through. But you get to decide to come out on the other side as the most beautiful magical flower, or are you going to let that mud hold you down for the rest of your life? Until you get to the day where you decide you've had enough. Because I think everybody, whether it be in this life or the next or the next or the next, gets to a point, a breaking point, where we say enough is enough. I don't want to experience this anymore. And that's what sends people deep diving into this work, into personal development, into spirituality, into just making yourself a priority and making decisions to better yourself in whatever way that might be for yourself. Maybe it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, or all four would be the best, actually, to create ultimate balance in your life. But yeah, so please do me a favor and believe in the magic. Take some time to be present. Take some time to sit with yourself. Write out gratitude. Gratitude for the things that you already have, the magic that you already have in your life, but also gratitude for the things you're about to manifest with this magic. You can be thankful for what's coming, and it actually is almost like a trick of the mind of the universe to bring it into your life faster. I am already so grateful to be a mom, and I have no doubt in my mind that I will be a mom in this life. I know it's a part of my purpose. There's no way that I love kids as much as I do and have been practicing being a mom since I was literally able to hold a doll in my arms, that I will not be in some way a mom in this life. So what do you want? What do you want? Ask yourself that question, because that's the only way you're going to get clear. That's the only way you're going to start to really understand the direction that you want to go in, so that you're living a life so full of magic, so full of joy, so full of gratitude, so full of adventure, so full of new opportunities, and so full of, well, whatever you desire. That's the fun part. So that's all for today. Just a girl who believes in magic, and I hopefully can inspire you to believe in the magic too. I love you all so, so, so much. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time, bye!